Twin Cities audiences have been enthusiastically following the rise of an all-female band called Women Who Cook. Some of the women are local singing stars, and others are hard-working players in a wide range of bands. But they all leave their own acts to come together to play for causes they believe in. The 13 women come from diverse musical backgrounds. In Women Who Cook, a jazz pianist might back a country crooner, or a blues guitarist might share the stage with a gospel shouter. Though they originally got together just to play on a television special 7 years ago, the women shared a vision of art for social issues and continued to perform together. In August of 1988, the women find themselves on a jet bound for Moscow for a 2-week tour of the Soviet Union. Because the response at their concerts is always so emotional, they believe they'll be able to communicate beyond the language barrier to express their concern for two cultures with big differences sharing a small planet. For some of the women, it is the first trip out of the United States to a place far from the supportive Twin Cities community that donated over $100,000 toward expenses of the trip. For the band, the 7 concerts in 2 Soviet cities will be played to their biggest audiences yet.
Back in the U.S., back in the U.S., back in the USSR. Great boys really knock me out. They leave the West behind.
Their first day in the Soviet capital, Women Who Cook go to a television studio to tape an appearance on Glance, the most popular TV show in the country, seen by over 160 million people. Some of the women sleep off their jet lag as the sound crew spends hours preparing for the taping.
Going a little slow right now, trying to get all the equipment matched up and together, but it's not going any slower than it does in the States.
Welcome to the Soviet Union.
Gonna get up, get up, get up, get up, lay out. Gonna get up, get up, get up, get up, shaking and shouting. Gonna get up, get up, get up, get up, sing our play. When we're through, we'll never be the same. Gonna get...
The first shows are to take place in an outdoor stadium in Sochi, a city that stretches 90 miles along the Black Sea. Though the winter population is only around 250,000, the summer census swells to a few million Soviet and Eastern European tourists. Instead of checking in to one of the big hotels on the beach, the Minnesotans land in the Moscow Hotel, which has seen few Americans. The rooms are small, hot, and infested with cockroaches.
You know, the accommodations are not what we're used to in America. I would never stay in a place like we stayed in Sochi. I would be out the minute after I walked in the room.
I came here to share my music and to get an experience, but I didn't come here just for the experience and just for the show. I came here to be treated somewhat like an ambassador, somewhere special, and I thought that the accommodations weren't quite up to my standards, you know. I would have rather have been down to that tourist hotel, you know, that looks like the Bonaventure in LA.
The Soviet promoter arranges for Women Who Cook to play a little impromptu afternoon show on the beach at a big seaside hotel to promote the evening concerts. Over 1,000 people wait for hours near the stage. And they're obviously delighted by the performance. The women are taken beyond their initial disappointments to their first thrill at connecting with the Soviet people.
My first connection that just totally blew my mind was at the beach in Sochi. When we got done, there was like this rush to the stage, and People wanted the autographs. One girl asked me for her autograph. She wanted me to write on her arm. Okay, I'm talking. Whoa, my heart just about fell, you know. Can you believe that? And I received the beautiful earrings, and I received a friendship ring, you know, that I will cherish forever and ever and ever.
Oh, thank you. I don't believe it. It's like I was crying, you know.
Check, hey, 1, 2, 2. I need the whole band to the stage, please.
The concerts will be held outdoors at a stadium that holds thousands. It's the first concert tour in the Soviet Union, not sponsored by the state. Instead, in the spirit of perestroika, an independent promoter has brought Women Who Cook to the USSR, hiring them sight unseen. For many of the vacationers at Sochi, this will be their first opportunity to hear an American band. But the day of the first show, heavy tropical rains wash over the stage.
There was a real low point, just from exhaustion or just various factors that sort of contributed to it. So disappointment, a show was canceled.
Ladies, I just want to say the weather is sad, so other news. No concert today. Would you have rehearsal today?
Might as well rehearse. We'd like to for a little while. Is that all right? It sagged. You could really feel the mood sagging. And everybody really feeds off of each other so much. It's very contagious, whatever the prevailing winds are.
Yeah! What? Yeah! Is that where we are? Yeah, we are. Let's say we're like...
Can I just say something? Seriously.
You know what,
I'm not gonna get upset. I'm not gonna get upset. But if we were doing a concert tonight, I'd be scared. First of all, what happened yesterday, and I should have said this yesterday, is that on stage at the beach was lame. We had no energy. It was like there was nobody punching it. There was nobody on it.
All of us, our edges are really like wrong. And if we could just take a minute and center and focus. But if we could, not just that. We're all like snappy. And if we could just take a moment and focus, we'll be okay. And nobody jumping at everybody. We're jumpy.
Tickets for the concerts are selling in the pedestrian tunnels beneath the streets, where posters advertise the Minnesota to Moscow connection. Women Who Cook has translated unsuccessfully to the Kitchen Maids. To compensate, the promoter has decided to glamorize the band by floating rumors that several members are Miss America.
It's about 5 of 8 right now.
The weather clears, and as Women Who Cook dress for their first concert, Soviet vacationers stream into the bleachers in the late afternoon, families bringing even their smallest children.
It's a very strange name for an American group, because all the women here in Russia, they do cook, but I don't think Americans do a lot of such job. American women. Let them be housewives, but let them make good music.
The members of the Moscow rock band Postscript introduce themselves to Women Who Cook. The two groups will be on the road together for 2 weeks, a unique opportunity for the Americans to actually work side by side with the Soviets and get the working musicians' point of view of the country.
Sasha.
How do you say good luck? How do you say good luck?
Well, I don't know. How do you say you lost your shirt?
Break a leg.
No, they'll never get it.
They're very innovative and exciting music that I've heard. The new music, the rock and roll, or it's not really rock and roll like we know it. It doesn't have that hard edge to it. It has jazz and some kind of minor Soviet, Russian sounding stuff in it too.
all-star band from Minnesota, Minneapolis. Women Who Cook. Женщины, которые готовят. Начинают девушки, которые приготовят совершенно сумасшедшие вещи.
Thank you, спасибо. I still remember that time when Sunday school seemed like it lasted so very long. I never knew what I know now. I would have stayed all day. Take me to one place where I come from. Haven't you heard that revelation is here? I'm so glad His revelation is here. I'm so glad His revelation is here.
The thing I would share first is that people are people over here. The political overtones just aren't in the people, you know. That's probably the impression I had. I was going to be a little bit leery about the political power, but it doesn't, I don't know, I think people are people. And that's the most important thing, is that if there isn't any way of getting through and overcoming the fear, it's to just deal one-on-one. And that's what we're trying to do, and it seems to be connecting.
Coming here, I think, really gave me a more realistic idea of Soviet people, and I was surprised to find that we're very much alike, very compatible even. Americans and Soviet people, for some reason, they're sort of on the same wavelength.
I still remember the time when Sunday school seemed like it lasted so very long. I never knew what I know now. I would have stayed all day. Take me where I come from. Haven't you heard that revelation is here? Sing it again. Take me where I come from. Haven't you heard that revelation is here? Sing it one more time. Take me where I come from. Haven't you heard that It's getting better all the time. It's getting better all the time. Getting so much better with a boy like you. And I will love everything that you do. And I do. For life is very short, and there's no time for fussing and fighting, my friend. Try to see it your way. There's a chance that we might fall apart before too long. Try to see it my way. Time will tell if I am right or I am wrong. We can work it out. We can work it out.
Audiences in Sochi, it took them a couple of seconds to get it. And then they were like wild. I mean, I hear that we got them revved up in ways that they would never show that much emotion before. They're showing lots of emotion and enthusiasm, and they're clapping their hands and they're saying da, or even yeah, or even whatever it is that we're saying. They're kind of like getting it.
I was alone, I took a ride, I didn't know what I would find. Another road where maybe I could see another kind of mind. to get you into my life.
Many smiling faces. You can see the people love it, even if they are quiet. They're so happy, and they move back and forth to the music and wave their hands. It's an incredible experience.
I think that they are expecting with the logo Women Who Cook, or the title Women Who Cook, women in the kitchen at first. And then the more we express what we mean by that, they get it. You know, if we say it a couple of times, all of a sudden they're kind of like, yeah, jamming. They're getting that we smoke the music, that we're funky, and that we're kind of low down.
Ну что ж, наша программа подошла к концу. Всего вам доброго. До новых встреч в Америке. До свидания.
Yeah, because I have to leave to Moscow. But if you could do it at 12 o'clock, that would be good.
We love America very much. After the concert, local musicians come backstage to meet the band.
How did you survive the winter?
That's it! Yeah!
In front of the hotel, yes. When?
12 o'clock. Noon.
12.
Yeah.
12 o'clock tomorrow.
Right.
The musicians are eager for the women to hear Russian music, and one young man invites them to a performance on the street the next afternoon.
Came up to me in Sochi. He's a sax player and has a band of his own. Him being a saxophone player and me being a saxophone player, it was really an incredible experience, because I found out what he has to go through to just play the saxophone. He has to make his own reeds. It's hard for him to get a mouthpiece and a good horn.
That night with their entourage, which includes 5 of the group's husbands or boyfriends with tour duties of their own, the bass player's 5 children, a photographer, 2 journalists, and a video team, the Minnesotans settle into a room back at the hotel to watch their appearance on the late Friday night show, Glance. They know that millions of viewers will be tuning in.
Yeah! 160 million and 30 people like that.
They did a nice job.
I want to hear Geraldine's letter. Could you read it to us?
This guy, when we were coming off the stage, he handed this to me, and it says, "To the women who cook. Dear the women who cook, and all American men.
Yeah.
Excuse me for our English. We thank you for your concert. We wait for every day and everywhere. We like American people, and we don't want war. We want to be your friends," and that's written in Russian. We are sorry if something was bad. Thank you, and once more, thank you.
Beautiful. That's really, really nice.
In their time off, the women explore Sochi, a city that few Western tourists have seen. They tour a tea farm on a nearby mountaintop. The group is served bread and jam, nuts, and Russian folk music.
I perceive the Soviet lifestyle as being a lot more simple than the American lifestyle. I really love that part of it. It seems like you don't need all these things that Americans have that we think we need to make ourselves happy. You really don't need those things. They don't have them here, and they have each other.
Most Americans will probably look at this as, oh, you know, the Soviet Union is so behind the times, and look at America, we're so ahead of the times. But the Soviet Union puts responsibility in a different place. They are way ahead of us in certain areas. They just don't care about living quarters, having enough space. As long as they're together, they don't care. You know, they don't care that much about having an up-to-date iron or a curling iron and that kind of thing.
Do you think they have others besides what's in here?
You know, you need to look at these earrings, because they're all different.
Oh, are they?
Look at that pair.
The women go to a local department store to see what kinds of luxuries a ruble can buy.
Then do you take them? Do you take
No,
this?
you leave them here, they bag them, and you have to come back
Come back
with a receipt.
This is the receipt?
You go pay for it and then come back.
Which one do you think is pretty?
So you leave it here?
Yeah. You tell her what you want.
Okay. Then you take this receipt to
And go pay for it
and then
and then
bring
come
the.
back.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Well, it's different.
4 rubles, 2 kopecks. You really have to wait in line forever. Spasiba.
Look at what K5 is. So cute.
Let's see if we can decipher it. What's that?
That's Pravda.
It's Pravda.
Is it?
It means truth.
Right. It means right too.
Oh, it doesn't?
While wandering around Sochi, they also find a little amusement park and join Soviet families spending a day together.
We will run across the sky, illuminate the night. Oh, I will try and guide you to better times, to brighter days. Don't be afraid to go up the ladder to the roof where we can see heaven much better. Go up the ladder to the roof. Closer to heaven. Stay with me, stay with me. We will let expression sing, hear freedom ringing. Oh, memories, broken dreams. Don't you know they'll all fade away?
I have 5 children with me on this trip. The Soviet people keep calling me a hero woman because I have 6 children. They tell me that some families have 6 children. It's difficult because both parents have to work, and their children go to school from 7 in the morning till 6 at night, and oftentimes they're left in this daycare for 5 days, and then they take them home on the weekend. I was asking Sasha, the interpreter, about large families, and he told me they do have them, but no one in the Soviet Union would consider going to America and bringing 5 children with them. So he thinks this is pretty amazing.
Later in the afternoon, they meet up with the saxophone player they befriended after their concert, who's invited them to listen to his band.
All the musicians that I've met so far have been as knowledgeable about American music as I am. They know everybody. They know all the stuff. I met one band that sings each night in at least 4 different languages. And I really respect them for how hard they work at it.
I think the level of musicianship I've heard is excellent and very, I mean, I don't know, I guess I had some stereotype ideas about them being in the Stone Age or something.
Musicians and groups in the Soviet Union have a much tougher time than musicians in the United States. For one thing, it's much more expensive to buy strings and instruments here. They were saying that bass strings cost $300 or something. You just can't imagine playing bass and, going through that expense, especially if you only make, $200, $300 a month. So it's very tough to keep that up, to keep that energy going for such an expensive job.
They're all so curious about, American music and how we live and can we play music for a living and make it in the United States. And a couple of them we've said, well, we're going to send you some bass strings or some guitar strings or some records or a flute for this one guy, because they're so incredibly expensive here, and these musicians work their entire lives just to buy a flute or to buy a saxophone. So we're going to go back and send them some things, and when we told them about this, the looks on their faces would just make you cry.
Мне тоже понравилось, как вы play drums.
Yes.
Well, я вчера, yesterday, слушал.
You were at the concert.
Steve Gadd.
Trying to connect with the language barrier, and when I would get through, it felt so good. That probably sticks out the most. I mean, giving the sticks and giving the gifts to the musicians, that was very exciting, but mostly it was exciting because I didn't know what I was talking about, they didn't know what they were talking about, but the feelings got through.
Да, из фанеры.
He made it by himself.
Really?
As this jazz bass.
Oh yeah?
Because instruments are hard to come by, the Russians have sometimes had to create what they need out of what they have. The drummer's congas are made from a chair.
Made from chair.
From a chair?
From a chair.
That's wonderful.
I met a very special man in Sochi that was at the concert, and when he saw us there, he came running up and said, I have to tell you, you're wonderful. You are so different from any other group I've ever seen in the Soviet Union. He said, you're not trying to be someone else.
It's a very, important detail that you are very sincere.
Good, I'm glad you felt
It wasn't just imitating, you know. It was just sincere, it was your feelings, and we felt it.
I'm glad you felt that.
To watch your concert live, it was the first time in my life, you see, and we were impressed greatly.
That's neat.
Мы пойдем, thank you very much. Well, and I would be glad very much to meet you again. Come to our country.
I hope so.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Well, I mean, I want to be more funky dressing. Dressing.
What's going to be different for me tonight? I didn't eat fish today, so I'm going to feel much better. Tonight, I won't be so worried about how they will respond with us not speaking in Russian, but speaking in English. They got the message clearly, so I'll feel much more comfortable about it.
Feel good to you last night?
It felt great. I think it's going to feel better, though, tonight.
Yeah? Think so, Glenn?
Sure.
The
Is that the face of the truth? I mean, come on. Did you believe that?
Sure, you believe it. They think I'm Miss America. Hey, that's what they said in the hallway. Miss America, Miss America. Say it. Because in the States, they would say, huh?
Wasn't it good? So good. Wasn't it fine? So fine. Isn't it madness? He can't deny.
Being a performer in this country, I don't have to work at it. I just have to sing. And that's the glory of it all. It's just to be a musician, to be and to express this God-given gift any way I feel like it. And it's been accepted. I really like that.
So good. Wasn't it fine? Isn't it madness? He can't deny. But in the end, he needs a little bit more than before. Security, he needs his fantasy and the freedom. I know him so. It took some time to myself. I didn't want you around. Those pretty faces are what made you stand out in the crowd. Someone picked you from the bunch. One glance was all it took. And now it's much too late for me. Take a second look.
We've never been on tour like this before, and the group only plays maybe once or twice a year. So I'm not only finding neat experiences with Russians, but I'm also finding neat experiences with people in the group that I probably wouldn't have found either had we not done this.
I've noticed when I see Soviet families walking down the street, they seem so loving and so close to each other. And more so than, you know, when you're walking down the street in Minneapolis or LA or whatever, you see the kids kind of going their own way and the parents going their own way. You don't see that so much in the Soviet Union. I see a lot of families sticking together and the parents go with the kids to see what they want to see or vice versa. And everybody just seems very loving and very warm with each other.
When I've met people whom I felt, if they lived in the same place as I did, I knew that we would be close friends. Just even being able to spend a day or even a few hours with some of the people that I've met, I felt such a strong connection. And I know it's one that I'll always try to maintain, no matter what it takes, you know.
Мы очень рады, что мы наконец это услышали. We are very glad that we have learned such beautiful music.
Честно говоря, да.
Yes, he is surprised that only women are in this jazz. Differ from what he knows about the jazz in this country.
These girls show how they have to sing, to dance, to act, to live at all. And we'll be very glad if such bands come to the Soviet Union once more, many times. These girls sang better than Beatles.
Hey, you guys, Billy Joel didn't get up like this.
After a while, the little things that bothered me in the beginning didn't matter so much because there was the tea garden, there was the beach with all these wonderful people, and there were the concerts with, I mean, mega flowers, you know, and then the love of the people just kind of took over.
I mean, flowers incorporated here. I mean, roses for days. Yeah.
After a week on the Black Sea, Women Who Cook fly back to Moscow. In the capital, they stay in the 6,000-bed Rossiya Hotel, just a stone's throw from Red Square. The week in Moscow is to end with 3 outdoor evening concerts at the Green Theater in wooded Gorky Park, in the heart of the city.
One more time.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Na, 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 na.
I
I'd always imagined that Moscow and the Soviet Union were just totally different, and I could never imagine it. There was no context that I had for it. But in fact, it's just another European city in a lot of ways, and absolutely beautiful. I mean, I'd never known they had flowers and trees here, and pretty quiet streets. And another thing that I've been continually struck with is how loving these people are, and how generous. And I think that's something that everybody's got. Yeah. And I think everyone's been surprised by it.
In their free time, the Minnesota women scatter around the city. Many choose to stroll down the Arbat, a street in Moscow that's often likened to New York's Greenwich Village. The Arbat is alive with street musicians, young breakdancers, and sidewalk artists.
Look at the likeness, though.
Would I like a portrait?
Yes.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. It's very nice. American?
Yes.
Yes, please. I draw your portrait.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Prue.
He asked you first.
Well, I think I'd like to walk around for a while first. Okay?
We might come back.
Could you do a group thing in like 15 minutes?
Oh, that'd be great.
That would be really great. He charges 100.
You do a group rate? All of us? In one picture?
Yeah.
Group?
Yeah, Skolka.
Your group?
Yeah,
group.
As group I draw is cartoon.
That might be nice.
That'd be great. It seems like everybody's really happy to be in Moscow, for one thing. It's just so exciting. There's so many things to see, and the people are so wonderful, and the buildings are so beautiful, and there's so much history here.
В фиолетовых штанах, правда нет на нем иголок, ничего сойдет и так, в детсаду сказал мне Юр, что ежи копейка штук, что ему ежей не надо, что он любит шоколад, а я ежиков люблю, я от ежиков торчу, я от ежиков шизею.
Batik? Beautiful. Oh, and look at this. Vera Jane. Yeah, let's check it out.
Here's what happened.
It's pretty funny. Women who cook.
Oh, I love it.
You meet somebody just for a brief moment, and you make this connection so easily here. A guy last night in the Arbat gave me this real special little thing that he had made. And it's just a little thing, but it was just so wonderful, and I love that, the whole idea of exchanging gifts, and I wish in America we did that.
Come on, have a good time.
Меня зовут Леша.
Everybody ought to have fun. Come on, all you people. Hey, have a good time. Everybody ought to have fun.
Well, we run into problems with the equipment being real dated. It's been, I don't know how many years behind our technology, and we've had to like wire cables out of nothing at the last minute, and our crew has been working so hard trying to pull that off. It's slowed us down, but we're still pulling it out. We're still doing it.
It's been a little tough for us because of all the equipment problems that we've had. We really haven't gotten a chance to get comfortable on the stages that we've worked on. I have a feeling that will be the case again tonight.
Outside the Green Theater, where the shows are scheduled, a billboard showing girls in a convertible waving an American flag advertises the Women Who Cook concerts.
Last night, which was our second to last concert here, we were all together doing our little prayer. And I think up until that point, I had felt that we needed to come together to remember on a spiritual and emotional and personal level as a group why we're here. Because having spoken so much in pitching this project to people for money or pitching the project to press, I had talked about how we wanted to make a difference to these people's lives in the Soviet Union, to show them something of our love and our interest and our openness to them, so that we were having some sort of form of communication that wasn't being controlled by the media. So last night when we came together, it was very emotional, and I think we all remembered why we're here.
You know, this whole country will feel our spirit with our prayer tonight and with our performance, because our performance is a prayer. They feel it in the United States, and they feel it even more here. The sincerity and love we have for each other and how we reflect that to others.
It's overwhelming. Everyone has gone through a lot of emotional stages between, you know, bursting into tears and being just struck with love from these people. So it's been one extreme to the other. It's very emotional. It's just taking in a lot of new stuff and new feelings and meeting new people, and kind of, you're vulnerable. So people have been feeling a lot of everything. I sure have.
For sure, that's what friends are for. Look your criminal, look your criminal, I'll be on your side forevermore, evermore.
The Moscow audiences are even more enthusiastic than those in Sochi. When a hard rain starts falling, the concert is canceled. But the Soviets leave the bleachers and, ignoring the policemen, crowd onto the covered stage. Touched by this show of support, Women Who Cook carry on without microphones after the promoter has turned off the power.
To the roof where we can see heaven much better. Go up the ladder to the roof where we can be closer to heaven. To relax and to and the happiness in we can guide our thoughts and get travel to much of loveliness, and I'll never leave you alone as we go.
Совершенно сойдите. Смотри, сосед, вот там встаньте и смотрите. Смотри, сосед. Ничего, кончен дождь. Кончился. Все, товарищ, сосед, сходи.
Even now, at the end of the trip, the women are surprised by how much the Soviets extend themselves, always offering presents despite their modest resources.
I will see you. I will see you again.
Into a country where rigid rules have been a way of life for so long, Women Who Cook brought a band that breaks with tradition by having women play all the parts in all types of music. The timing couldn't have been better because the women saw a moment in Soviet history in which a tradition of stoicism is suddenly giving way to a new openness. And in that spirit, Women Who Cook's passion to deliver their music was met with an equal passion to hear it.
I can't imagine any better form of expression than music, especially in the Soviet Union. I never imagined that it would be so complete. The giving and the receiving, it's all there, it's all complete. It's music.
Well, what I'd like to do is make sure that we each understand that Americans and people all over, universally, want the same thing. We all want peace. It's just our governments that are having the problems.
I grew up in the Cold War, and I was taught to be afraid of Russia and the Soviet Union. And of course, that includes millions of people. And now I realize there's absolutely no basis for that.
I think the lesson for me has been in learning how to give, and that material things really aren't worth a dime. They're not worth anything. Here, there's so much love that's overflowing that if I've learned nothing but how to share more love and how to give something that is precious to me away, because it doesn't matter. You know, I've been given a lot since I've been here.
Come on, children, come on, children, come on, children, come on, children, come on, children. Come on, children. Save the planet. Who will save our planet? Who will volunteer?
True to their vision of keeping their new friendships alive, the women have played host in Minnesota to a number of Soviet musicians they met on their trip. 2 of the women returned 6 months later for another concert tour. And the group kept its promise to send instruments back to the musicians in Sochi. The trip may have ended in Moscow, but the story continues.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Save the planet. Who will save our planet? Who will volunteer? Who will save the planet? Don't you know it's our planet? Judgment time is here. Who will it be? Will it be Mr. Black? Who will it be? Will it be Mr. White? Who will it be? Will it be Mr. Wrong? Who will it be? Or will it be Mr. Right? Will it be you? Or will it be me? Everybody knows who it will be. Yes, it is. Yes, it does. Save the planet. Who will save our planet? Who will volunteer? Who will save the planet? Don't you know we love our planet? Judgment time is here. Thank you. Siva. Good night, everybody. Thank you.